There she is. Hello, Mother. I wish I could have known you.
She was finest I ever had. Well, top 3. Top 5, at least.
Welcome back to Nonsense. I'm Chris, and this is a breakdown of Rick and Morty, Season 8, Episode 9, Morty Daddy. We open on the family eating pancakes, and Jerry says,
"It feels like we eat them all the time."
Which, yes, the Smiths do eat pancakes pretty often. 2 instances come to mind immediately.
Morty's on Jessica's Instagram again.
Oh, I get it.
Though I'm guessing there are plenty more. I would say, though, more often than not, they just eat breakfast food. But in this moment, Beth and Rick look at each other weird, and Morty and Summer look at them weird too, so maybe it is something. Beth did make him a giant stack of pancakes for his anniversary living with him in Season 1, Episode 10, so maybe it has a special meaning to Rick somehow? Anyways, Morty's phone vibrates as he gets a call from Morty Jr. from Raising Gazorpazorp, who is in the hospital now. Morty agrees to go see him and tells the family, who react negatively. Jerry pulls out the book Junior wrote trashing Morty and complains it made him and Beth look like bad parents. Then a table buzzer in Rick's coat starts vibrating, setting up the Rick and Summer storyline of going to a hipster-sounding restaurant. But before they leave, a third vibrating object is heard, and calmly Jerry explains it's just his butt plug.
Do you want me to pull it out and show it to you?
They all walk out, and we cut to Junior's hospital room TV playing Downbeat the Show, a continuation of the Downbeat gag that makes jokes out of the phrase downbeat.
Downbeat!
How do you win this fucking game?
We've never gotten that far.
Downbeat!
I enjoy this game.
We'll play downbeat, and we'll camp here tonight, and then rebuild the house.
We're not gonna finish playing Downbeat?
What, that dice game where you shake dice and yell out downbeat?
Which, among people who work in TV, means the activity that characters are doing at the beginning of a scene before the actual scene begins. Anyways, Morty walks into Junior's hospital room and comments on how quickly his species ages. Junior apologizes for writing the book, but the animators did a good job of making it seem like he's hamming it up a lot. Especially since it turns out he wasn't dying or anything. And we don't see him cough again through the end of the episode. But Junior finally tells Morty why he called.
I was hoping you'd help me make peace with my mother.
And Morty awkwardly explains that his mom was a sex robot. But Junior already knew that, so Morty agrees to help. We cut to Prix-Cogs, the fancy restaurant Summer had been wanting to visit. And there's a giant fish tank in the middle where we immediately see one of the Prix-Cogs swimming around. So they must be amphibious as well as having precognition. Summer's excited, but Rick is skeptical as their table gets called. As they walk through the place, there's an alien eating the brains out of a bug head, while their date eats what looks like spaghetti intestines out of a little green critter, kind of reminding us of the spaghetti intestines from that episode. And then, here, there's presumably a couple sharing some kind of ice cream looking dessert as the gimmick of the place is revealed. The Prix-Cogs order for you, and guarantee you'll love the meal. As Summer and Rick get to their table, we also see a fly eating a BDSM rotisserie chicken, complete with a ball gag, leather straps, and a spiked collar, while their lady frog date eats another alien of some sort. The waiter comes out with their meals, and Rick gets
More Lackey and Fawn.
Beside its mother's tentacle.
which he seems pleasantly surprised by as he dodged the tentacle to eat the fawn first. But he does finish the tentacle too, which is not as alien as you might think. There's a Korean dish called sanakji that involves eating still writhing and squirming octopus tentacles. On the edge of this screen though, we also see the classiest looking alien snail ever eating some kind of goop. But when Summer's meal is revealed to be avocado toast, she winds up getting kinda mad about it. We cut back to Morty and Junior, who are accessing Rick's garbage disposal portal in the garage. So it's probably safe to assume Garbage Goober is out of a job. But more importantly, this portal is light blue instead of green. We saw plenty of these in the Rick Prime finale episode, but Rick using one is unheard of, and I honestly don't know why this is. Maybe light blue is better for portals that stay open, or maybe light blue means it leads to like a pocket dimension or something. I'm open to any theories you have in the comments. Morty explains Rick threw her away into the portal, so Junior pulls out his speech and reads the first half. The whole thing though reads, "Mother, I'm told your mouth was always open, but I'm sure your heart was as well. As I stand before the place where you were laid to rest on something, for the last time something, to honor the something of your life, something effect you had." It reads like someone who really wants to write deeply, but is utterly failing to do so, which is his whole vibe this episode, so that makes sense. He puts away the note, and they decide to head down into the portal together. We cut to them inside, and we see an old banana peel on the console on the other side. A classic TV trope for showing that a place is a mess. Morty locks a console, and the ladder retracts, as I think mechanical doors close over the portal. They start walking, and there are plenty of Easter eggs in the trash piles we'll see, but this first shot doesn't seem to contain anything special. As the shot expands though, we do see a cool Iron Giant looking guy. At the end of the shot, we see the obvious reference to the Eye of Sauron in Rick's Salvatron system.
A self-replicating system that filters the trash for anything valuable.
One of the drones flies up and scans them
Oh, they're coming over. Just a formality.
before declaring them valuable. But after realizing what Rick did to the last Salvatron drone, who found something valuable, he decides to just kill them instead. So they start running, and we cut back to Summer and Rick, and see the frog and fly couple getting their desserts. The frog gets a cute little pirate ship on something green with tentacles coming out, and the fly gets a little critter tied up by its limbs. The fancy snail, though, is still working on the same size pile of goop. Probably a joke about snails being slow. Rick loves his meal, though, and says he hopes he gets lava cake for dessert. Summer finally tries her avocado toast and absolutely hates it, so she decides to go and complain. She barges into the back kitchen, and we see what I think is the lava cake Rick wanted on the shelf here. We see 3 more Prix-Cogs, and there's a lot of human ingredients in this kitchen. Carrots, potatoes, whatever you call these things. No Easter eggs, but it is cool that they're half submerged in water even while cooking. They start finishing her sentences as she complains, and Rick follows her in, trying to talk her out of getting involved. But instead, Summer chucks a pan at them. The cops have already been called, and are outside though, indicating this was all part of the Prix-Cogs plan. He tries to get Summer out of there, but one of the Cogs says,
Rick Sanchez will realize the Cogs are a better hang.
and they offer him dessert and a cool safe house with a pool to lay low if he takes them with him, which immediately works on him. We cut back to Morty and Junior running from Salvatron through the same pile they walked through at the beginning for some reason. Probably to save on animation. The ground falls in though, and the two fall through a hole. And while they fall, we see a Meeseeks box here, and from the hole perspective, we see a second Meeseeks box down here. And I wonder what would happen if the button got pressed while falling and nobody was there to give the Meeseeks a purpose. Anyways, the Salvatron assumes they're dead, and when we cut back to the trash pile, we can see the spaghetti plate from the spaghetti episode. As they climb out of the pile though, they're approached by a sentient pizza box who tells them it's not safe in this area. So they follow him to Garbtopia, an underground city made of Rick's trash. There's a photo booth and a movie stand, and a robot carrying a bone. And since we see they use bones in construction here, he's probably using it to build something. There's a stereo robot and a mustache TV robot, who vaguely reminds me of Miss Minutes, a walking version of the reclining chair, and this alien back here is wearing a Boob World hat. They walk past some horny sentient bathroom bots, and Morty shows the pizza in a picture and asks if he's seen her. The pizza bot tells them she's in the graveyard, and leaves a pizza with an arrow pointing the way on the ground, to which Morty responds,
Wish you hadn't shit it on the ground. I'm kinda hungry.
He then realizes he's lost Junior, but finds him nearby watching a play. It turns out the play is based on a fiction book he wrote that Rick must have bought and then thrown away, called The Enchanted Goblin. While he's watching up in the corner, we can also see a lucky cat statue, which I'm surprised Rick would buy at all. And over here we can see a fishbowl robot ordering at what looks like a good stand called Leftovers. Morty expresses he's glad they came together and says my favorite line of the episode.
Now, what do you say we go see your dead mom?
We cut back to Rick chilling in a guitar-shaped pool next to a giant eclair as Summer complains they came with the Prix-Cogs and are still here. They offer her some eclair and she smacks it into the pool. But since another one scoops it up and gives it to Rick, who says
Claire's good wet, too.
it's safe to assume it was part of their plan. We cut back to Morty and Junior in the graveyard, and there's a lot of dead robot graves, and one desktop computer grave, which I thought was funny. We also see an Alice mailbox robot and watering can robot. They walk in, and Junior says,
Looks like there's a sex robot section over that way.
and they walk past some really bizarre looking lady robots before getting to the right one. Morty tries to comfort Junior by telling him his mom was great in bed, but accidentally just winds up bragging about how many women he's slept with and ranking them. Junior reveals he hooked up with Heather Locklear in response, who's an actress best known for Melrose Place. They then get attacked by a giant trash robot who doesn't get a real name. He demands that Morty let him out of the trash portal, and out of fear, Junior reveals he was never dying and just needed new material for his new book. The trash bot then shoots Junior and leaves him for dead, and we cut to him and Morty back by the entrance as he forces Morty to open it. But the system detects Morty's probably leading a trash rebellion and declines to open it. The Salvatrons close in though and shoot the trash bot first before firing at Morty, who manages to fall through another hole.
Then, as fate would have it, a very large air vent opened beneath them. Our heroes escape execution via the large vented air vent. As fate would have it, this is a direct path to the outside.
This time the Salvatron follows him in though, and we see the butter robot here.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
And this robot head stands out enough that I do think it's a reference, I just can't figure out to what. Morty hides, and right before the Salvatrons find him, Junior and the actors from the play show up to save him. We also see a can of Morty-O's spaghetti down here again from the spaghetti episode. The actors say they need to go warn Garbtopia that the Salvatrons know about the tunnels now though, and we cut back to Rick waking up thinking the Cogs had drugged him. But it was actually Summer who drugged everyone and kidnapped the Cogs to get them away from Rick. She gets him to admit she hadn't wanted avocado toast and had only used them to get to Rick. So she offers to help them complete whatever their goal is if they leave them alone, and they agree. Rick catches up to them, and the Cogs start giving Summer detailed instructions on how to avoid Rick, that ultimately wind up turning the truck into a cool-looking food truck. First, through a freshly painted sign in Spanish for a car accident injury attorney. Then, Rick tears the hole along the side using a towing hook. Then they crash through a restaurant depot to get the cooking supplies, and at times they literally blind Summer in order to get her to make the right mistake so they survive, which is pretty cool. Rick jumps ahead, but they just ram into him and off the freeway before we cut back to Morty Jr. trying to warn everyone that the Salvatrons know about the city. So they decide to attack his tower right before the Salvatrons show up. And there's this moment where one of the urinals says,
How? Right the pisser.
an obvious reference to Ralph from the Honeymooners.
One of these days! Right in the kisser!
Anyways, Morty and the gang dig out of the underground city and attack the Salvatron Tower. Together, they manage to clear the Salvatrons out and decide to start a new civilization out of Rick's sentient trash, with Morty Jr. as its leader. We cut back to some kind of indie market as Summer manages to avoid everyone, including a couple taking romantic pictures, some kids, and this hilarious cat. She then crashes the newly created food truck perfectly into a parking spot among other food trucks, and the Cogs immediately get out and start making their gourmet hot dogs, revealing that all along, Summer's perfect meal was one of them. Rick then basically begs them to keep hanging out with him, but they refuse, setting up the end credits scene when he literally throws them away, although they obviously would have been aware that would happen too. We cut back to the Mortys and see a used gun shop in their newly established civilization, as well as a dollar bin garbage shop. Morty Jr. seems happy and signals he doesn't want to leave, but Morty is disappointed the portal home hasn't reopened yet. Jr. then explains he's married and been fucking a sentient microwave before the Cogs food truck falls through the portal, and Morty sprints towards it. Jr. then starts monologuing while the shot shifts to a drawing of the scene in his next book, and despite it being black and white, the cyborg's eye is still red for some reason. The shot then widens to reveal the family is looking at the book at a stand in an airport. Rick is actually there too, and wearing what I think are ski goggles indicating they're going skiing. But I honestly have to ask why Rick would ever need to take a plane anywhere. It honestly makes zero sense, and is the most confusing part of this entire episode to me. Anyways, we skip through the credits and the cutscene is just the Cogs now in Rick's trash dimension for some reason, serving biological food to robots. Another confusing bit for me personally, but that's all for this breakdown. I'm working on breakdowns for the whole season, so please subscribe if you want to see more, and leave a comment if you caught any details I missed, and after I'm done with every episode I'll do a full season breakdown updated with all the details the commenters have been leaving. Sorry this one was so delayed, I've been sick for over a week and I'm just starting to recover, but I'm definitely doing every episode, so I'll see you in the next video.
Now what do you say we go see your dead mom?